What is up today, YouTube? So it has been a while since I made a handboarding obstacle, and I thought, why not? Let's make another one. Because when I just filmed for Handboarding World Tour, I realized I don't have any benches left. Got rid of all my benches because they were pretty poorly made, and I've had them for a long time. So started getting my brain working, and I wanted to recreate a street spot. Didn't know what it was at the exact moment in time, but I thought about it. Thought of one I remember seeing in some magazines years ago, did some research, and found out it's this, the Barcelona benches, which look like this. Now, why did I pick this? Well, it's because it's 100% metal, and actually it's pretty easy to make. Well, I mean, I haven't made it just yet. But I picked up some metal in the store, and these were the prices. If you guys are curious, this is what I picked up. Now, I did purchase the 3-inch brand new. I showed the 1.5-inch angle iron, but I am going to be using some scrap I had lying around. I just showed it in case you guys were interested to purchase it. And we are going to start getting these prepped and ready for weld. Now that I got my rusty steel pretty much cleaned up for the most part, I'll probably hit it with some sandpaper later, but I really don't mind the rust because of the spot I'm making. I can now mark out my measurement for how far I'll need. Now, roughly this will be about 1/5 scale. So I'm going to start by marking out 15 1/4 inches, which, if that sounds weird, the 1/4 inch is so I can grind everything back and make it as flush and flat as possible. So I'm going to make 2 marks at 15 1/4 inches and get these cut out. Now with the pieces cut down to size, we can actually see what this will look like. So this is going to sit up here and then give me that double step platform look. So I'm going to dig out the welder and start getting this part set up. Okay, so my phone died, and I am leaving for the weekend, so I really couldn't stop. But the only thing you guys missed is I ground down the edge here. I might round it over a little bit more, but for the most part that's ground down. Beyond that, I started cutting out my feet. Now, if you look in the original image, there's only 4 feet, but they use a bracket that kind of strengthens it up. And in this case, this is already probably 7-8 pounds. Maybe a little closer to 5. So I ended up going to be using 6 feet. Now, these are cut from a shepherd's hook that's supposed to hold a hanging plant. Obviously, you can just pick up your own round stock. Not a big deal. But we're going to start putting the feet on now. So if you notice, I drilled some holes in it, and I'm actually going to switch now to a step bit and go from the backside. Now, what is the purpose of this? This allows these to sit within that hole, so that when I weld it, I can grind it completely flush, and these will not go anywhere. They won't be able to bend to the sides or anything like that. And it also keeps down from having some unsightly welds shown later. So my legs are a hair crooked, but all of them are touching. It does not rock, so I really don't mind. Now let me show you why I drilled those holes. So now, if we come up here, we can see that gap there. So now I can fill that whole thing in with weld and then grind it completely flush, and I'll have a good strong weld. Now with the plug welds all welded in, we can do a finish grind on it. So we got everything ground down. Now I am a little bummed out about the pits. It's a new welder to me. I haven't gotten used to setting it and getting used to it yet, but it kind of just makes it look more like a street spot. Now the feet, you can see there's a tiny gap on the center one. It doesn't rock around. It doesn't really move. So I'm not too concerned about that, especially if I end up putting like rubber feet underneath it. That'll take up that gap, and it's not that big of a deal. So we're going to sand down a little bit because the underside is pretty ugly, and test it, and then we'll be ready for paint. Okay, so it's absolutely not perfect, but it's supposed to mimic a street spot, and I think it looks pretty good doing that job. So we're going to get a few tricks in, but remember, bare steel grinds horribly, and I'm not going to wax it because I'm about to paint it. So let's get a couple of tricks in.
like a Hellcat.
Well, it would be fun to paint it a really fun color. I think we're just gonna go with some black.